Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Hugo and Jake. And this is Jake Reads Your Comments number...
I'm pretty sure we survived winter.
Yeah. So, we're here to read more of your comments, and Jake's here to talk about them. Let's go! From the Discord, Martin says, Dear Hugo and Jake, do you believe time travel can be written well, or that it just has too many flaws to overcome?
This is a question I thought you'd like to discuss with me.
Yeah.
I think it can be written well, but it has to be done slowly so that you make sure it doesn't... Time travel is always going to have what some people consider to be plot holes or something, but you have to set up your rules at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like Terminator. Terminator avoided all of those by just saying everything just smashes into itself. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I can't think of an actual plot hole in Terminator because it is retcon time travel. You know what I mean?
Each time it's a slightly different universe,
Right.
And it changes itself.
Yeah, and the idea that... Okay, so Skynet, I think we can agree, is very smart, very intelligent. So, right, but I mean, the fact that they think going back in time and changing the past will help their immediate future means there's one timeline? I would like to think there's more than one because it helps my brain, but like maybe Skynet's working on this metaphysical analysis, but even their reaction to it is like, yeah, they fucked up the past, we had to go back again and do it.
If I were writing a new Terminator movie and I wanted to try and... First of all, I wouldn't, or I'd just reboot the series entirely and just say, okay, everything's thrown out and restarting. But if I had to make a new Terminator movie, here's what I would do. To try and make everything make sense within the context of Skynet.
Sure.
It's still working toward this ultimate goal of survival and being the only, sentient thing left on the planet, basically.
Yeah, that's kind of their bag.
Here's what I think I would do. I would have it set up that Skynet knows that most of the time, when it sends things back in time, it's going to end up with John Connor still growing up and whatever.
It's just brute forcing it?
What Skynet is doing is A, brute forcing it, and B, pushing off Judgment Day further and further into the future until Skynet is technologically powerful enough to do what it actually wants. Does that make sense?
Oh!
Judgment Day is inevitable, but Skynet is recognizing that the earlier in the timeline it takes, the less power Skynet has for itself.
Are you telling me 1992 or whatever isn't a good time? Or was it 97?
Yeah.
Isn't a good time for it to...
Which is why Skynet starts out in the 80s, of course. This is
89, right?
Yeah, this is just because of the writing of the time and what people saw computers as the time. Skynet is a faceless algorithm in the 80s, but when you get to, now it's fucking Matt Smith for some reason. It has a personality, it has a face, you know what I mean?
I kind of like that. And maybe that's what they were going for.
It's not at all. This is me trying to fix a broken franchise, but...
Yeah. I like the idea that, especially if at the end of it, you see, and as a way of kind of Loganing the universe, where Logan is the prime universe. Maybe some of those movies happened, but, they're probably just stories.
Sure. Which
is how I think everyone should think about the X-Men franchise, to maintain sanity in the face of that disaster. But, similarly, I think if you had the last scene where maybe they saw, there's a big, I don't know, Skynet headquarters or whatever, and there's some sort of view screen or whatever, however you want to do it. As long as the characters see different possibilities of timelines, and you can have just really quick boop, 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 little clips of the other movies.
Sure. And
those were alternate, but none of them count.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you're acknowledging that they exist, especially T2. Maybe we'll show 2 clips of T2. But, or just Edward Furlong. Why don't you understand my idioms? The joke. But... Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it, because it would definitely let the audience know that we're pushing, and so we have to stop it a different way, and then you got to figure that out. But you wrote yourself into a little bit of a corner.
We'll see. Maybe once James Cameron's done playing around and making 7 new Avatar sequels, he'll try Terminator again and try and fix that franchise.
James Cameron, just I don't want to see Avatar ever.
Also from the Discord, Seat Gull. Oh, that's clever. Good for them. Dear Hugo, what is it like to be a manlet, and do you think it makes Papa uncomfortable? Like you. It just ends with like you?
Instead of love you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like you.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm not a huge fan of being super short. I'm 5'6", by the way, which I think officially makes me an inch shorter than Tom Cruise? Maybe an inch taller, or we're the same. I don't know.
I'm 5'10" on my license. I'm probably closer to 5'9" and a quarter.
Yeah. I don't really care,
I'm not
though.
super tall.
At the end of the day, I feel like...
You're just a small person.
I feel like top of my list of, like, negative things
I don't
worry
think
about.
it, yeah.
Height isn't up there.
Yeah.
I got other things to worry about.
Things that make me uncomfortable. Trying to think of, like, physical traits that make me uncomfortable. I think if you breathe through a tube in your neck, that would freak me out a little bit.
That'd freak me out a lot.
Right.
Because I'd lose my job.
I would work.
Hello.
No, that's awesome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hugo.
You don't talk like a robot. You just sound like shit.
I had an aunt or something who had one of these. They had to take out.
That's because they had the thing, and it was like the 90s.
They had to. It vibrates their throat because they can't do it themselves anymore.
No, you would just talk. You hold the hole, and then you can talk normal.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hugo. Much better.
Yeah, the emphysema that you have. That's where it's headed.
Irrelevant, also from the Discord. Hey Jake, why is it that people feel as if they need some divine purpose to do good when all people, except psychopaths and the like, enjoy making others happy and constantly seeking approval? Isn't that natural motivation a good enough reason without relying on some metaphysical dictator ordering them to do so?
This is a good question, especially because, and I don't know if you caught it, Matt Dillahunty just had a debate with Jordan Peterson.
No, I saw her watching it the other day, though.
Her is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
We just have a slave that's out there doing our research for us. They get into this a little bit. By the way, I think Matt, friend of the show, we know him personally, not like super close, but you know, enough to like walk up to him and have lunch and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty ridiculous destruction. I'm a little biased, but Jordan Peterson, has this idea that you can't be... Morality does not exist in a world without God. But he also contends that, like, if people don't exist, does God exist? So I don't know what the fuck his beliefs are. He's literally Deepak Chopra. But let's go with the idea that morality is non-existent without God. And again, Dillahunty, and he's who I would cite anyways, even if they didn't do this debate, his subjective morality and like kind of how he views it is morality is a selfish thing. It makes me feel good, and it's a natural thing. Because we've evolved to coexist with our species, for the most part. Obviously, we're very, very territorial and aggressive and tribal. But in our communities that coalesce, it behooves us to be cooperative. And you can see this if you are a naturalist and you believe in evolution, because you ought to, and it's real. You can see that people that are outliers in this, people that have brains that aren't like ours, that are psychopath or sociopath, they stick out very ridiculously because they often kill people or they do things that are just really fucking weird.
Sure.
To us, antisocial behavior. And so it's very selfish. It makes me feel good to cooperate with you. I could throw you through that window. I probably couldn't, but I could try to throw you through that window. It's I don't know. I'm not that strong, but say I could. Say I had the ability to throw you through that window.
I feel like if it weren't for this frame in the middle, you could do it.
Right? Yeah. Maybe.
It's more.
I feel like I got a really good heave.
It's more that I'm positive about the construction of your home than I am negative about your upper body strength.
I could definitely pick you up and give you a toss. I just don't know if I could. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Or I could sit here and we could cooperate.
Sure.
And this is more beneficial to me than assaulting you.
Yeah, generally.
Right. Or just in any other circumstance, it behooves you to stand in line at the post office instead of trying to cut in line and making a ruckus, because socially everybody else is going to be like, fuck you,
Sure.
because it makes them feel bad. And just other stuff. Cooperation is inherently an evolutionary trait that we see in animals. Flocks of things. There's strength in numbers, and that's just true. You have a higher chance of success in living against natural predators if there are more options around you, and that it's a cynical view, but that's the truth. So yeah, we're bred to cooperate, and that's what morality really is. It's a survival mechanism. It's not more than that. We're just sentient and can think upon self, and we can have empathy, so it feels like more than that. And that's the difference. So, however you want to explain that to a Christian is, but they're probably not going to understand it because they don't come from a naturalistic point of view. And that's the disconnect between this argument. Do you have anything to add?
Not particularly. I basically heard that Jordan Peterson just defines religion so broadly it ends up encompassing...
Oh, and it's very word salady.
Ends up encompassing so much it becomes a useless definition for him, basically.
Yeah, but he cites Christianity like almost chiefly, leading me to believe that while I don't necessarily believe he is a practicing Christian, I think he would like to be able to find it in himself to be one.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Okay. From Twitter, Cole says, thoughts on Albert Camus?
Camus.
Camus absurdism? I don't know who this is.
Albert Camus is an author of essays and novels, chiefly The Stranger, if you're not familiar. He works in the realm of absurdism, or did. He's dead now. French author, I believe. Yeah, French. And The Stranger is very, very interesting. It's about a guy who kind of accidentally commits a murder and then has to deal with the death penalty, and then kind of has a conversation after the fact with a I want to call him a chaplain, but that's not the correct word. The religious guy that comes down and basically absolves you of your sins before you go to the chair or whatever. Whatever that's called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he basically has a conversation with him like, what the fuck is the point of that? Like, and he makes, if it wasn't so well written, it would be Fedora tippy, but it is really well written and it's meaningful. And like that guy ends up going away crying and then it kind of fades to black before his death. But you just kind of assume he just fucking goes. So the idea of absurdism, if you're not familiar with it, is that trying to reconcile humanity's search for a meaning in a universe where there is none. And so I think most people, again, who are naturalists, who are atheists, most atheists are naturalists. That's probably the case for you. Like, human life as a whole, the answer in absurdism is it doesn't have meaning. But he argues that, and I appreciate Camus for this, even though he's usually a depressing author. The first chapter in that, so is suicide the most logical thing? And he immediately is like, well, no. Because unless you're, like, suffering and stuff, existence is, like, this kind of, like, I don't want to say the word miracle because that's not the words he uses, but it's, like, fucking bizarre. That it's absurd.
Yeah. That's
kind of the point, is it's absurd that you even exist, so go do that. And then, very popularly, the most famous, probably, example of absurdism is Sisyphus, the guy rolling the boulder up the hill, never to achieve. Even when he gets to the top, it rolls over to the other side and he has to do it again. Kind of the human struggle is as close to a meaning as we can possibly get. Like, the revolt against the absurd is, like, kind of the thing here. So I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm 100% on it. Like, I don't really pick up ideologies. I don't know if you can tell by that about me. I'm not really a guy that goes like, and now I'm this, and I'm going to live my life with this mantra. No, I don't do that. I find that stupid, and I don't like to be tied to a concept when maybe contextually I don't want to be tied to that concept.
Sure.
So, yeah, I really like Camus, though, and if you have not read The Stranger, you ought to. It's a really good read. It's very short, and you got to get the one. It's black and white, and it has, like, you'll see it. That's the correct translation. There's some bad translations that don't do it justice.
That makes me want to read that.
It's a really good book.
Oh, okay, I'll check it out.
I bought it for people in the past.
Okay.
That's how good it is, and I don't really do that.
I'll check it out. At the Real Gry says, what is the grossest food and drink you actually like?
I feel like you have a better answer for this than I do, but I'm going to go gross, not like cheap and garbage. I just think a lot of people don't like some stuff I like.
Okay.
Like conch.
I don't even know what that is.
The animal that lives inside a conch shell. It's a giant snail.
Sure.
I also like snails.
Okay, I haven't had it, so...
It's super good.
I usually like shellfish, so I'd imagine something like
well, you're not very picky, necessarily. You're more stays in lane guy rather than picky.
Sure.
Like, you'll try shit.
Yeah.
I don't think... Have you ever not wanted to try a thing I offered you? I don't think that's the case.
No, I usually try it unless it's something I know.
It might be something terrible.
Like, if it was something really hot. I don't like
spicy
food.
Yeah,
but that's just an aversion thing.
I really like all varieties of sushi. Even the gross-looking ones. I've had jellyfish. Jellyfish, not great.
I've had sushi. I haven't had jellyfish.
Jellyfish is... They serve it over here. It's really not good, though. It's chewy, like you'd imagine. It feels like a membrane you can't bite through.
I'm afraid to try sushi here because the only sushi I've tried is like in Florida. Where
it's really good here.
Okay.
We have a direct access to the sea. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's better in Florida. Don't get me wrong. And then the west coast of the country is much better. But SpaghettiOs. I don't hate SpaghettiOs, as you have seen. Is there any like really garbage food that I just like? A walking taco. Like something really trashy like that, where you like open a bag of Fritos, put cheap meat into it, cheap cheddar cheese shred. Like that's just good. There was a lunch at our school growing up. I went to public school. We went to different high schools. And it was called turkey gravy. And they had these really plain instant mashed potatoes that were like fucking piping hot.
Yeah.
They're like 400 degrees. They come out and they scoop 2 scoops and then they press them down with the ice cream scoop. And then they pour this... like
the wateriest.
It's watery, gelatinous turkey.
We had this at my school too.
But it was good, and I liked it. Like all of us, like when we started in freshman year, I remember my group of friends were like, "That looks fucking disgusting."
Yeah.
And then one of us goes, I don't know who it was. It might have been me, probably not though. And we just tried it, and then we're like, "Okay, this is actually pretty good." I can't believe this is good. Because it was like either that or like those shitty pizzas, those square ones.
Yeah.
And we were fucking tired of that. So when Turkey Gravy Day came the next time, we were like, all right, if you're fucking wrong about this, you owe me $1. Because lunch was $1. Which is, looking back on that, wow, what a fucking great deal. And it turned out to be pretty good. They gave you a little piece of fucking actual just white bread. Like Wonder Bread. It was just garbage. I don't know if I'd like it that much today, but I remember it, and I don't think it'd be that bad.
Now that we're talking about this, I'm thinking of the worst foods I've ever eaten that I liked.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to go back to high school too. It's food I don't have access to anymore, so I can't eat it. But
the pizzas or whatever.
We had a middle lunch line because I went to a bigger school than you, not by a ton, but bigger than yours.
I think you graduated with like what, 400 or 500 people?
Less than that. No.
Yes, because I graduated with 122.
Okay. It was more than
6
that.
people died.
But
so
you had more deaths in your class than I had in mine, which is weird.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we had 3 lunch lines. We had one that did one thing, one that switched back and forth every other day from either pizza or burgers, and then the middle one was sort of a la carte stuff that was more like desserts.
We had one line, very small school.
Drinks and stuff. In the middle line, they had what I can only imagine started out at the beginning of the day as dough. Just normal dough. They normal, and then they twist it into. The lunch lady, I don't think, has ever seen a pretzel. I think she's had a pretzel described to her and did her best. And then they just do that, bake it, and then I think they just threw I'd imagine
like a pile of salt
on the sheet. It said handful of cheese, and they just
cheese.
Put it in the oven, and it's just a pretzel covered in cheese, and I would eat that for lunch like 3 days a week.
Oh, you just spit everywhere.
I know, it's my body thinking about it.
Wipe your face. Oh, all right. Oh, okay.
My body's salivating just thinking about
That's awful.
This disgusting hunk of dough and cheese. And I would eat this, and I don't know how I am alive today. based on the fact that I would eat that all the time.
There's a place in the small town all the way down, Mamma Mia's.
Yes.
That pizza place.
Oh, yeah.
Everything they serve is fucking awful but good.
Yeah.
Their pizza is like the greasiest shit ever. We've gotten the cheesy bread before.
The cheesy bread I'll still get. It's just...
We actually ate the hot dog pizza they made.
Yeah.
Did you know that Milano's over here is going to make a Coney dog pizza for the summertime? We have to try it.
Do we have to compare the Coney dog pizzas and decide which one's better?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you right now, it's Milano's.
Oh, yeah. God, what else do I like that's absolutely terrible? There's so many things that I think people like enjoy that's just bad.
I like Hot Pockets.
I don't.
In the oven.
That's the only way to do it.
But see, here's the thing. When someone says like, oh, I eat Hot Pockets, it's like, oh, I'm on the way to a thing, I'm in a hurry.
Oh, no, you have 45 minutes, 55 minutes to decide.
I have the time to sit down and think, what am I going to have for dinner? I think about it.
How often do you eat one, though? Like, when's the last time you had one?
2 weeks ago, probably.
Oh, fuck. Okay, last time I had one was on stream.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally,
and the time
I'll
before
be like,
that, I don't know.
What's for dinner? I have the time to wait for my oven to preheat to 400, and I can wait the 28 minutes for the Hot Pocket to be done. I know the temperature and time for a Hot Pocket off the top of my head.
Oh, fuck.
My life is meaningless.
Okay. Well, I've discovered recently that I like a thing that sounds gross that isn't.
Okay.
Whatever your favorite bread is, one that we'd use for a sandwich, don't toast, peanut butter, right?
Oh, I know.
And pickles. It's really fucking good. I don't know why it's good.
No, I believe you.
It's good though, and it's so please make a peanut butter and pickle sandwich and report back to me on Twitter, because I would really like to know, and send me a picture too. I would really like to know, like, how many of you went in negatively and came out positively, because I got changed by an author named Chuck Wendig. And he browbeat me into it.
Okay, Mr. Tea Time says, what's the largest sea mammal you reckon you could knock out in a single punch?
Like a bottlenose pup.
I gotta look up sea mammals real quick.
Well, okay, so my initial instinct is manatee, but I don't think I could.
Sea otter.
A sea otter?
A sea otter.
No, they're too shifty. I don't think you could get a hold of one.
They didn't ask if I have to hold it down.
Oh, so if it's just...
I assume you get a clean
shot. I thought it was like a fair fight in like an arena.
No, I assume it's what sea... We're either gonna... This is a weird situation.
Okay.
But I assume this is a situation where you're brought into a room.
Oh,
and they say to you, pick your sea mammal, and maybe they have a list. And you go,
punch it.
Why? If you can't knock this thing out in one hit, we're killing you.
Oh.
This is a weird rich people gambling establishment. Millionaires come from all over the country to see poor people come
Tom Cruise sits on a balcony with tiny binoculars and goes, I'm taller than him.
Can the poors beat up an elephant seal? And they put money on it. How many punches will it take? That's why I'm going with sea otter. They're tiny.
That's the tiniest sea mammal?
Yeah.
That can't be the tiniest.
And maybe if I show enough sociopathy and just don't care, they'll let me...
That's why I picked a baby bottlenose.
Maybe they'll be like, one of us. And then
it'll be like,
and then I get to
Eyes Wide Shut orgy.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I get an executive producer credit on whatever the next movie Warner Brothers shoves out the door.
If it's a wide-eyed shut orgy, you still get to fuck Tom Cruise. And then you guys actually get to know who's taller.
Dick-wise, it's him. I wouldn't hang off a plane like that.
I played with a manatee once.
Did you punch it?
No.
Well, that would have been...
I squirted him with fresh water and he loved it. It was cute.
If you'd squirted him with kinetic energy from your fist, you would have had a perfect answer to this question.
Squirted him.
Funny you ask. Actually,
I have punched many a sea mammal.
Anyway, Guy Fox on YouTube says, I'm not against... Oh, I saw this comment. God damn it. I'm not against gay marriage, but I'm not all for it either. I was Christian until I turned 13. It's fine by me if there's same-sex marriage. I just don't want them shoving it in my face. Like I have to like them. I choose to like people based on who they are as a person and not their sexuality. That's how I was taught growing up, to point people out based on their sexuality when I don't know who they are as a person. That's how I assume that person talks.
So
I don't understand why this person's immediate thing when anyone brought up. This was on our review of For the Bible Tells Me show, by the way, which was the movie review we did about gay marriage right before gay marriage actually became legal in all 50 states.
Right. I'm pretty sure that we probably tipped the scales there.
I'm glad this guy here is at least saying, I'm good with gay marriage. I find it odd when the first reaction anyone has, though, to anything like this is to be immediately defensive and been like, but hold on, let me...
I don't want you to think I like dicks in my asshole.
Listen, I think you probably have some things you need to sit down and think about.
Like naked dudes.
I don't even care. It's not either way. Maybe it's not that. Maybe people just make you uncomfortable. But a defensive reaction like that is bizarre and says a lot more about you than it does about anyone else.
Right, it tells me that you probably like ding-dings, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's the point. Like, if you would just want 2, 3, 8 ding-dings in and around you, like, navigate that minefield. But don't make it about other people and what they're doing, man. I don't like the idea that, like, don't shove it in my face. Oh, don't exist nearby me? What is that? It makes me wish I was gay so I could go make that guy uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that guy. I hate that shit.
That's the thing. It is usually people who are like, oh, I just saw, a gay couple holding hands. That's shoving it in their face to them. No, they're existing. They're existing.
They're going to be happy, man. I don't know. It's bizarre to me that anyone would think that way. And if you are a fan of the show and you do in fact think that way, consider that maybe you're just a cunt. Because you're probably just a cunt. And that's okay. You can undo that by really asking, how does it affect you? How does either the legislation, the relationship those two people have, any of it, how does it affect you other than you go, I don't also like the same sex? Like, I don't like dicks. But gay guys don't make me, like, Superfan Paul is visiting pretty soon.
Oh, when?
Hella gay.
When's he coming?
Near the 2/3 of the month.
Okay.
In. So yeah, like, I don't know. Unless I'm engaging in sexual activities with you, I care very little unless you are fucking children or people that, or like things that can't consent. Yeah. And you hurt them. Other than that, I don't really stick your dick in whatever you want. If you want to fuck your car, a bridge.
Have you seen that guy who fucks
I
his
have.
car?
I've seen the lady that fucks bridges and shit.
I'm gonna say this. Not a bad move on his part.
Not a bad one?
Compared to not fucking anything?
Well, I mean, is it that? I mean, like, it's either car or no relief ever?
For that guy, yes.
Oh, then do you think he just like the car mag, you know, the one, the like the Auto Trader that comes out and they're like, hey, look at all these cars. You think like just like
he's monogamous.
Tributes onto each one page.
He is in love with his car and he would never cheat on her.
Is that cheating?
It's a car.
Is
so
that cheating?
No.
Can him in the car like watch together, look at the manual together?
Yes.
Okay. What if he makes like a car model? What is that like? What does that even mean?
Like a little...
I have no reference for that in my sexuality.
He has sex with a little tiny
Does
car?
he have sex with it? Or no, I'm just
I was
saying...
going to say, that's as close to pedophilia as you can get in the car
a
fucking
little
game.
car?
Yeah.
No. That's more like a bumper car. Like, do you think he feels gross to get, like, ew, sitting in bumper cars? Fucking gross. Or, like, smart cars? Are they just not grown up?
When he inevitably gets a new car and it's like a smart car and,
right.
and it has like a Google Assistant on it,
oh,
is he gonna talk? Is he gonna dirty talk to the car and hope it talks back?
Yeah, but luckily, since Google will be listening, he will get the ads he wants to hear in regards to his sexuality.
All right,
thanks, Google.
That's probably good.
Yep.
So this is normally, if it were my show, I'd tell you to write me more questions, but Jake just gets.
I just hunt them.
Just hunts them.
Like a safari guy. I don't know what this. Are they just safari? I don't know, the hat. Robin Williams' dad in Jumanji. That's what I'm picturing myself as, with a mouse.
That character was in the new Jumanji as well.
There's the one with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yes. Jack Black, Karen Gillan, and the black guy whose name I forget. I wanted to call him
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I want to call him Cat Williams, but not even Kevin Hart deserves to be accidentally called Cat Williams.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
Fuck you.
It wasn't. Sorry. It wasn't good, and it didn't need to be Jumanji-based at all, but...
I don't believe it.
It was fine for what it was. The ads were very misleading. Anyway. Is that it? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. So until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake. Oh, subscribe and Patreon, and here's the P.O. Box. Actual Jake on Twitch, Hugo Reloaded on Twitch.
Yeah, I just did my second part of Batman yesterday, and I'm going to do more later this week.
And we also did The Tangent, which is our new podcast that premieres every Tuesday night around 5.
Yeah.
Around 5.
And that should get cut up and put onto various channels.
Indeedly do.